Deal.
And then if there are, oh, look at you with your makeshift, there you go. Am I in frame?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so there's some stucco cracks on the exterior. You'll see them noted where they're at. There's nothing big, major. They're all just little hairline cracks, very typical for any home in Florida. But when you see them, I would just recommend, like you can feather a little bit of caulk into it, like with your thumb or a damp rag, just to seal them up, make sure they don't extend or get any bigger. Spot on the front of the house where the wall finish looks like they patched it but then didn't paint over it near those master bath windows. This front door, I told her, but I didn't explain it to you. That second door, it has a latch on the top and bottom that allows it to open. The top latch, the spring is broken for it. So their way of keeping it in place is they have this wad of masking tape they crammed in there. So I had to take that wad of tape out in order to get the door to open, but then I had to put it back how they had it MacGyvered. That way it would still latch.
It's just jerry-rigged in there.
Yeah, there should be like a copper-looking spring that's in there that just needs to be replaced. When that spring is doing what it's supposed to, it keeps the latch in its upright position, and then when you want to operate the door, you have to push the spring in and then pull the latch down. Right now the spring does nothing, so their piece of painter's tape wadded up in there is what's holding it shut. And then, so this pool bath door, it doesn't we were looking at the weather stripping, so it closes and latches nicely and tight, but then the deadbolt doesn't work. You actually have to open the door a little bit to get the deadbolt to go into the strike, and then you can't pull it and latch it tightly. So that plate needs to be adjusted so that the door can seal tightly and be locked at the same time.
The plate needs to go in.
Exactly, towards the frame of the door. A little bit of paver settlements. Some of it's over here on the left side of the pool, and then in the driveway, if you kind of stand back and look at the garage doors, you can see very mild ruts of where they were pulling their car in and out. It really stands out if you look at the seal of the garage door where it meets the pavers, because it'll be a nice tight fit and then it'll kind of bow out. It's nothing major, but I spotted it, so I pointed it out. Over time, it could get worse. Really, the only remedy for that is that you would remove the pavers and put more sand underneath them and recompact it just so it's all nice and flat. In all likelihood, when there's a heavy rain event, some water could pool there, but it's still going to shed off to the street because of the slope on the driveway. I wrote up about that screen door binding, and the latch is hard to actuate. So it sticks a little bit on the bottom on the sweep, but then really the main thing is that latch is hard to push. Around your screen cage, you have those stainless tie downs. The 4 along the back are nice and tight, but the 1 on either side are loose. So I just recommend getting those tightened. They're just double nuts up at the top. You would loosen one and then run the other one down so it's tight.
We caught that look too on camera.
I know.
It was
I
perfect.
get it. I knew in your head it was already, the gears were turning and you were just biting your tongue. So
that was straight office.
Yes.
That was straight out of the office.
In the master bedroom, you have that tray. Some of the corner bead is starting to show in that tray, closest on the window wall, the exterior wall. Probably just maybe butter a little bit of mud there to hide it. But matching this texture is always kind of a pain too. So it'd be best to ask a professional if it gets worse to have it, covered up better. And then I wrote up the ceiling patched in that pool bath.
Yeah.
But I checked it, there's no active moisture. I don't know what was going on there that they had to patch it, and they just did a poor job. So it just needs a better patch and then repaint it. And then similar, they also patched near the air vent, just a few feet over from and above that door. And same thing, they patched it but didn't come back and repaint, so you can see the difference in the finish. And then there's a wall crack in this front foyer area, you noticed it. I don't think it's a sign of major settlement or issues, it's just things that crop up, after a couple of years.
It's settling. It's just
Or it's just the guy's dynamite the mind and the house shakes. No, I'm serious.
No, I believe you. Yeah, because there's still a lot of that going on in this
Say it
area.
again?
The mine, they dynamite 5-6 times a week, and there's times where I bet you the glass in the chandelier rattles.
Yeah.
Is that so?
Yeah, it probably
There's a
sounds like a
mine out
shuttle
here?
reentry.
There's a mine?
Well, I mean, not any, but this all was just agricultural and mines 30 years ago.
Okay.
And then one by one, as the mines were spent, they were just being, sold as, land for either crops or communities. And actually, some of the water features, I don't think here, we're pretty far east, but I know one of the communities just a little farther west, closer to the interstate, their main lake is actually just mine spoil. It was dug as part of the mine, and then as it filled in with rainwater and whatever materials were leached in there. I'm sure they've cleaned it and mitigated it, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of mining operations.
The mine on the leak out, the water looks,
like
Caribbean.
iridescent.
Yeah, Caribbean blue.
Yeah, but not in a good way. Not like swimming pigs in the Exumas. Like,
No, it's,
there's other things going on.
It's some iridescence.
Yeah,
It's all
like you might glow if you go in it for too long.
Burn off.
A little bit of countertop caulking missing in the laundry room here. That sink there where the backsplash is installed.
That's new. They redid all these counters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's granite. So they didn't do that when they did the courts. So
They
that's
did.
original from the builder.
Okay.
A couple door stops missing. One of them's in the master bedroom walk-in
It's just like
closet.
all handyman stuff.
It is, this whole list.
Is it
This is going to be a
handy?
very boring video of honeydew stuff.
That's okay.
In the main bathroom here, where there's a tub, that faucet diverter that you pull up to shut off the tub spout and send it to the shower doesn't seal properly. So you still have water coming out of the tub spout, and then the shower head pressure is really low because of it. So that needs to get swapped out.
We had to do that in ours. They had the same problem.
It's just a,
Yeah.
it's a builder.
Yeah, it's just manufacturing defect, basically. It just wasn't made to last, I suppose.
It was like a 2-minute job to do it.
You did it yourself?
And then he's already
A diverter?
The diverter, all it is a pull up on the spout.
Mhm.
And you just,
A plumbing company charged me like $800.
No, they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
I was like, what? Yeah.
They retile your bathroom.
She doesn't know anything.
Yeah, exactly. Gullible as the day is bright. There's a vacuum breaker on the left side that's defective.
Vacuum breaker?
Yeah, so it's the widget that they spin onto the hose bib. It's meant to keep anything from backflowing into the water supply in the house. But then when they fail, the water just sprays out the side. So like if you connect a hose to it, you'll be using more water at the hose bib than you will out the nozzle of the hose because the thing's defective. I can show you when we walk out if you'd like.
yeah, or you can just take the bib off and
Most people do. They, whatever tab is on there, once you break it off, it spins off real easily, and then they just chuck it in the trash and then don't use it. It's a code thing, so it has to be on there, once the house is CO'd. But after that, you can run with it. The very mild leak in the shower head in the master bath, that fancy detachable wand thing they installed, like either doesn't have enough Teflon tape or just needs to be tightened another quarter turn because it's leaking right there where it goes into the main tail.
Maybe another O-ring or something.
Maybe, yeah, or they crushed it when they installed it and it's gonna leak. A couple spots of missing grout and then a little bit of voids in the tub caulk in this main bathroom. You're missing a panel screw on your electrical panel. The bigger thing I want to mention though is that Square View electrical panel is part of a recall. Between 2020 and 2022, they identified some units that had a higher risk of arc and fire. So all we know to look for is the date code, so we're going to call it out. In the report, you'll see a link to a Consumer Product Safety Commission article that's specifically focused on these recall electrical panels. What we would recommend is that you would call Schneider Electric is the parent company of Square D, and they're a global company. If you call them and give them the info off the panel, they'll send somebody out to analyze it, and they can determine if for sure it was part of the recall, they'll replace it, and if not, then you're good to go. But you'll see, greater detail in the report, and like I said, a link to that article so that you can, get the contact information for Schneider Electric, and then it's just getting that handled. I wrote up the wire splice that's just laying in the patio there, and then I also wrote up that you can't use an extension cord for a permanent power run, but it sounds like you're already getting after that to get it fixed properly.
yeah.
I mentioned the loose outlet in that rear bedroom where the TV mount is. And then I wrote up the lanai lights is not working because we can't get them
Can't figure
going.
out. She's gonna tell me where the breaker is.
Okay. And then also, I noticed out by the pool equipment, there is a wet spot right underneath the pool pump. I can't see where it's leaking from or that it's leaking while it's been running. It's just kind of suspicious. Like, you know, if the sprinklers ran last night, the whole pad should be wet. Not just this spot that's right. It's almost like a halo beneath the pool pump. So I didn't see it actively leaking, but because it looks like it could have maybe yesterday or the day before and didn't dry out, I made note of it. And then also, there's some suspected mold at your air handler, but it's mainly on the cover panel.
Okay.
So the issue here that we see a lot, mold can't grow on metal. And if you look inside that case, all of the insulation is foil backed. They don't foil back that's felt. So one, it's really hard to clean once this starts, and two, that's breeding ground for microbial stuff. But everything else metal, like even I'll show you the actual photos, like, the blower motor fins are nice and clean. A lot of times that's something that we have to write out, like there hasn't been maintenance in a couple of years, it'll have a lot of dirt and lead on it. So like that label is on the blower motor housing, it's got mold on it. But then if you look, like the coils are nice and clean, the insulation's nice and clean. Like if it wasn't for that dead front cover, I mean the fins on the blower are spick and span. Like it was probably serviced and they just missed the cover or something. But I mean, yeah, as soon as I opened it and pulled that off, I mean, so I would assume you could easily replace that insulation, peel that off of there, get a piece of either rigid or like foil back foam insulation that would go on there, and then that's not gonna happen anymore. That's the mold that's growing on the panel there, but it's only there.
It's outside?
No, it's right here.
Oh, okay. Oh,
That,
gosh.
when the troll came out of the bridge, I was opening the AC unit.
Thank you for opening it. See? I told you they did great inspection.
Yeah, we try to be thorough.
I appreciate it.
So that's it.
I think that was a great
Yeah,
inspection.
it's just a lot of little piddly maintenance stuff. I was trying to nitpick this place. And then the only thing is
He
just,
nitpicked us.
getting information